Welcome to the virtual networking kickoff for breaking down barriers in business, mentorship, sponsorship, and supportive networks. I'm really excited to be moderating this panel webinar for this really important web summit organized by the Asia Foundation in partnership with the U.S. Department of State and the Middlebury Institute of International Studies. If anyone is having issues with WebEx, we have a WebEx representative who can support you, so feel free to enter requests into the Q&A box at any time. So a little bit of intro. My name is Lucy Lee, and I'm a Lotus Circle advisor for the Asia Foundation. I'm also an investor at Volition Capital, a growth equity firm based here in Boston that invests in high-growth, innovative enterprise software, internet, and consumer companies, predominantly across North America. Prior to this role, I was an investor at Goldman Sachs. And I've been very lucky to have been able to transition from my liberal arts background into a career in finance and technology because of the amazing support network that has surrounded me in the form of wonderful colleagues and mentors. And I truly believe that the only way to help even more women succeed in these male-dominated industries is to create stronger, more interconnected, and diverse supportive mechanisms that not only educate us about the new opportunities that exist, but also have the power to advocate and lift us up into these positions. And our hope today with this web seminar is that these sessions will help plant the seeds to very fruitful conversations and connections that hopefully can transcend both time and place. So moving on, I'd like to take this opportunity to learn a little bit more about you and for us to all learn a little bit more about each other. So if you wouldn't mind getting out a phone or go on a separate browser and go to menti.com. That's MENTI.com. And then once you're in, if you're able to enter the code 3420453. So that's menti.com, MENTI.com, and then the code's 342045 and 3.
It's not working.
It's not working? That is a shame.
Or is there a space?
Sorry, Lucy, try the code 2839974.
2839974. Let's do that one. Is that one working now? Excellent. Thank you, Alicia. We're getting there. We're getting there. So you should be able to see the first question here, which is, who is a female role model that you look up to? And if you enter that question, we've designed this in a word cloud, so we should be able to see each other's responses, which would be really cool. So I'll give you a moment to do that. Elizabeth Warren, very timely. My mom, you too. I love these. No, I was actually named after I Love Lucy. What a great way to start the webinar tonight. We've definitely got some popular ones. The larger the word, the more instances it's recording. Well, thank you all so much for that. So the second question is related to the first, and it's wonderful to see so much overlap, which is, what is one word you would describe this strong and powerful woman in your mind? So that second question, to repeat, is what is one word you would describe this woman that you're thinking about? I love these. Authentic, compassionate, strong, boss, my favorite position, champion. I love the combination of warmth and strength at the same time. It's something that I feel like a lot of women in the professional world have struggled, myself included, to navigate. So it's wonderful to see those two themes side by side here tonight. Great. And then the final question that I would love to discuss is, what has been the most effective strategies you've used to build your own STEM network and to amplify your leadership in diverse settings? I'll give you a minute for this one because this one might take a little bit longer. Becoming part of the STEM community at an early age. Very true. Yes, asking questions. There are no stupid questions, only ones that remain unasked. Asking for introductions. Connecting with friends or associates from college who now work in the field, totally. Taking on leadership roles. Increasing female role models in the STEM field, which hopefully we're trying to do tonight. Connecting with friends and associates, reaching out to people I'm curious about. I love this one, being empathetic, thoughtful, honest, and accessible. Give a lot because it comes back. Totally agree with that. And this other theme in the middle, teach female students to feel confident about their choices. I love this, starting at the educational level and trying to direct them before they enter the workforce. Speaking up against socially tolerated wrongs and sharing personal stories of how that negatively impacts people. These are amazing. Well, thank you all so much for participating in this. I'll keep the ball rolling because I know we have a tight schedule. This is a really wonderful way to introduce the wonderful speakers that we have tonight, because we're all here tonight to learn from each other about how to build better, stronger, more effective networks in industries where women are underrepresented. Tonight we have leading technologists from premier US tech firms who will launch this networking session by offering brief remarks on strategies about how they've built supportive relationships among women STEM leaders from within individual companies and across sectors. Participants will then be divided into virtual breakout rooms to promote new connections. And we hope that these breakout rooms will provide the space for STEM leaders to create connections with colleagues across sectors, regions, and countries, and where STEM women will be heard in terms of their experiences, perspectives, and leadership, and where we can experience some solidarity with other kick-ass women. So the speakers tonight, it's my honor to introduce the three of them. The first one is Aisha Bowe, who is an aerospace engineer and the founder of CEO of STEM Board USA. As CEO, Aisha leads a workforce of engineers and technologists in the development of innovative solutions to societal challenges. The Lingo coding kit is but one example of the success of her approach. Designed and developed by STEM Board, Lingo is a fun and engaging way for students to learn basic coding and engineering concepts at home. Welcome, Aisha. Our second speaker tonight is Yujin Chung, and she is a product marketing lead for Noom and a founding director for Women Who Code based in Seoul, Korea. Noom is the world's leading behavior change company that helps people everywhere lead healthier lives. She is responsible for the overall strategy of the chapter and the recruitment, marketing, and events for the Women Who Code Seoul network. And then finally, we have Naomi Kurahara, who is the co-founder and CEO of InfoStellar, a new space communications technology company based in Tokyo that manages a satellite antenna sharing platform called Stellar Station. Using the platform, users can share their unused antenna time and access antennas worldwide for their satellite operations. Prior to founding InfoStellar, Naomi worked as a systems engineer at Integral Systems Japan. And so now I'd like to turn the presentation to Aisha. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm absolutely delighted and honored to have the opportunity to be with you today, especially among such esteemed ladies as Yujin and Naomi. Are you guys able to see the slides?
Yes.
Oh. There we go. I'm excited to give you a peek into my story because when I was young, I never knew I was going to end up in STEM. On the left is a photo with me and my parents, and as you can see, we were on the floor. When my father came to the United States, he was a taxi driver and my mother cleaned houses. I didn't realize that I was going to discover STEM until I ended up in community college after I completed high school. And there was math and science in high school, and I just didn't like it. I didn't want to have anything to do with it because it wasn't something that I saw myself in. But it wasn't until I was in this school that I discovered a love of math and science that would translate to earning multiple degrees in aerospace engineering and eventually pursuing a career at NASA. At this time, I was so excited to enter into the field that I couldn't wait to meet all the other women in STEM. I mean, I had stumbled upon a love of math and science, and I thought to myself, wow, I'm going to go into the field, I'm going to meet all these women, and it's going to be amazing, only to find out that 28% of females around the world were in STEM, and working at NASA was no different. It took me several years to feel as though I belonged. And once I got my feet underneath me, I realized that I wanted to do something. I wanted to change this. I wanted to create an environment around me that not only embraced women in STEM, but was able to show others that we also were role models. And for people like me, who as an African-American woman, I never saw other women of color in STEM growing up, I wanted to get out there and I wanted to share my story, and I wanted to be able to be part of forums like these so that women can ask me questions about how I ended up studying engineering after starting my engineering degree with pre-algebra and a community college. When I was at NASA, I specialized in small spacecraft, so satellites the size of a shoebox. And at first, I was really nervous. I was scared to let people know what I felt or how I thought, because I was constantly concerned that I didn't measure up or that my ideas weren't good. And because there weren't a lot of other people around me, I spent a lot of time worrying about whether or not I was strong enough and smart enough to be there and to lead. But over time, as I started to really embrace the qualities that I had that made me different, I started to excel and I started to realize that there was power in creating organizations of women who were mentors, who were sponsors, who were surrounded by individuals who could lend them assistance as they needed. And so while at NASA, I would go into the community and I would meet with young girls and I would say to them, hey, I'm an engineer and I hope to help you become an engineer too. And a strange thing started to happen. I started to realize that young women, especially in elementary and middle school, they changed the way that they looked at the world based off of the women that they interacted with. And so by going into these schools and by building these partnerships and these friendships and these sessions, they actually started to go into high school saying that they wanted to be an engineer and they wanted to do something different. And so this inspired me to say, well, wait a second. I love my job. I love working on satellites. I want to do all these cool things, but how can I take this and turn it into an actual company so that more women, minorities, and non-traditional people could be inspired to pursue engineering? And so I started thinking about making a startup, but once again, I didn't have any rich uncles. I didn't know anybody who would ever run a company. And I was absolutely determined to figure out how I could leverage the guidance and mentorship of women in my network in order to make it happen. And even worse, I was looking around and seeing all of these crazy articles and headlines about how difficult it would be as an African-American woman in Silicon Valley to get funding or how people were being overlooked. And I said to myself, hey, you know what, Aisha? Let's really lean into women in leadership, and let's try to figure out how I could build a network of women who could show me how to make this happen. And so I went into the Valley and I started to meet women, and I said, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. I really want to achieve this goal, and I'm not afraid to be honest about what I need in order to be successful. And I would go to meetups. I would get in contact with people on LinkedIn. I would share stories on my social media. And a funny thing happened. The women started to respond, and they became a solid network of colleagues that ended up mentoring me to founding my company, which I've now had for 7 years, is listed on the Inc. 5000 as one of the fastest growing companies in America. And it all started with one contract with one woman who owned a firm at NASA who said, I believe in you. And that wouldn't have occurred had I not had the courage to go out and be honest about my self-doubts, my fears, the things I thought I was failing in, and have the courage to go and talk to as many people as possible until I found a sponsor. So over the past few years, I have made it my mission to do that exact same thing, because this woman who mentored me, she said something that was so important. Each and every one of you, and I mean you, ladies who are out there, who are watching me, you are role models. Whether you recognize it or not, your stories, the time you spend right now to invest in yourself, to make yourself better, to be smarter, to in some way enhance your skill by building your network, that makes you someone that someone else looks up to. And as a result, I challenge all of you to take the things that you've learned today and share them with your communities and use them to empower, inspire, uplift, and build in other women. And what's funny to me, and I love this stat, because when I tell people they're role models, they're like, no way, I couldn't be a role model. But guess what? Less than 8% of people in the world can name even one famous woman in tech. And even worse, a quarter of them responded with the names Siri and Alexa, who aren't real women. So I have to say, guys, you are the role models that the world needs. So get out there, and hopefully we can increase that percentage to more than 8. And as a result, organizations like this have been a platform by which I've spent a lot of time speaking around the world. From Japan, from Korea to Africa, these talks provide us with valuable opportunities to get connected, to know each other, and figure out how we can impact change globally. The slide behind you is one example of a speaking tour that I went on where I spent a lot of time learning from women in South Africa and Israel about the challenges that they faced in their STEM ecosystem and how we could help them overcome them. But why is this important? So early in the presentation, I mentioned the power of going to middle school and high schoolers. If you guys have the time, I really want you to take a chance and listen to this. It's on the Girl Boss podcast. And that little lady, her name is Claire. I met Claire when she was 13 years old, and she said, I think I want to be an engineer. Well, today, Claire is a graduating senior at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and she just got her first job working for Lockheed as an aerospace engineer. So these images, these opportunities that we take to develop programs and to go into the world, they matter. All of this, for me, culminated in building a product company called Lingo that now teaches women around the world to code by building backup sensors, working with microcontrollers, and developing a sense of community through coding. And so as we close here, I want to leave you guys with a few things. And I think we all know that they're important. One, it's critical for women to have equal opportunities in STEM by using technology. But oftentimes, equal opportunities means that people like you and I are out there championing them. So where you can, mentor, reverse mentor, engage people around you and show them that you are willing to invest in their future in the same way that somebody may have invested in yours. Because if we are really going to build a world where there's equality in STEM, we all have to not only seek sponsors, but be sponsors ourselves. And so what is a sponsor? A sponsor is a strong advocate for your career success. They have a seat at the decision-making table. They have direct exposure, and they work on your behalf as well to champion your credibility behind closed doors, and they are in positions of power. That woman who helped me start this company, she did exactly that. When people didn't know about my character, she said, I'm going to vouch for her. I'm willing to put my company and my degree and my reputation on the line to make sure that she can succeed. And 7 years later, I couldn't have been any more proud to be somebody that she sponsored, and I do the same. The other thing is every single one of you I know is a professional. I really encourage you to get on track with professional societies. I was part of NSBE. I was part of the American Institute of Aerospace and Astronautics, and all these organizations where if I had a hard day or if I needed guidance or support, I could tap them and they could help me grow. We absolutely must work together to make sure that the picture looks past this. So looks sort of like this. So in closing, I want you guys to invest in your network, be authentic, don't be afraid, own your ideas, and build and create reverse mentoring relationships. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aisha, for that incredible presentation. I loved the story of using your own story as an agent of change by being honest and confronting our fears head on. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'd love to pass the microphone on to Yujin now, who will share her story with us.
Do you hear me clearly?
Loud and clear.
Great. Thanks for sharing inspiring story, Aisha. And today, could you see my slide?
I'm still on Aisha's thank you slide.
Not yet.
Not quite.
Aisha's slide right now. Do I?
Yujin, could you please pass Yujin the presenter ball and progress to her slide?
Great, thank you. So, thank you everybody for participating today. And my name is Yujin, and today I'm going to talk about Women in Code and how the Women in Code breaking down barriers. And when I stepped in my career, when I was a manager when the time I was struggling to become a leader, I met Women in Code, and then I got a promotion this year, and that's because that's coming from the mentorship and sponsorship and supportive networks I found from Women in Code. Could you pass to the next slide? I think there is a slight delay. So technology, as you've already recognized, technology is aiding every industry. Tech jobs are growing really fast, and especially the STEM job is really growing fast. And I can say that every industry is tech, even automotive, not only just computer or engineering, aerospace, or just car, and even for the e-commerce, everywhere is really tech. But as the market is growing fast, the market is not prepared to fill 2.4 million jobs. So if you're still thinking that if you're afraid of if there is the future in the industry, I think there is absolutely a lot of chances ahead of us. So there's a huge opportunity. And today, women hold 51% of professional occupations, but only about a quarter of computing jobs. And the opportunity is even greater amongst venture partners, and where women represent less than 5%, and venture capital recipients where women represent about 7%. It's growing, but the number is still small. And especially, there are lots of women who are entering the industry, but there is a gender gap, especially for the mid-level women, and they often leave due to lack of representation, and especially in senior positions. Mid-level women often leave science or tech jobs in the middle of their career, right at the moment when they're experienced and could be primed to advance into top leadership. This is a faster rate than men and a faster rate than women leave other industry. Why? Women often report that they leave due to lack of representations, and especially in the tech leadership, and they can't see path to advancing in the industry. But by contrast, for the companies who embrace diversity, there is an advantage to be gained by supporting women to attain leadership roles. I hope like every company has some opportunities, but sadly, it's as you see, it's increasing. It's steadily increasing. It's not 100% yet, and I'm really excited to change the story. And then for the women who are participating today, I know that we are trying to change the story. And we know that women are excelling, and that thousands of women are regularly enjoying career success in tech. And then we're really trying to change the story, and then we know that like women are excelling, and we could talk about our success on the break sessions. And to talk about a little bit about Women in Code, we're really inclusive community and dedicated to providing an empowering experience for everyone who participated in the meetups, and we are helping exactly what Women in Code is doing to help women leverage the opportunities in tech is we trying to represent ourselves in the different areas of the tech. As Aisha mentioned, we would like to exist as a role model, and then we hope that we could present more women in the executive positions and the high level, especially senior positions, so that we can empower more women to grow. So far, we are represented in 17 cities and 20 countries and more than 200 million members and 9,000 events to date. And we're growing rapidly, and then run by 257 plus, more than this. And I couldn't count on the numbers right now, but this year it will exceed 300, I think so. And our leaders are the driving force of Women in Code, and so that you could connect globally with other women in the world easily. If you want to go to the States, then you can find someone in the States, and if you want to go to Japan, and then you can connect to the network in Japan. Of course, if you want to have a network in Seoul, you can contact with me. So here are some photos of us. So we did meet up regularly, and so that you could find other women who are seeking for help, and also you could learn from the leadership from others in the networking sessions, also from the others' presentations. You could learn from others, And also being speaker is a really great experience. By sharing your experiences, you could learn a lot of things as well. So far, so we could find out a lot of events on our website. So by participating and also by preparing events that will allow you to grow your leadership skills. And our leadership program offers a real-world experience for high-skilled volunteers who lead the networks. You could learn from other leaders. And also, we help women engage in the border tech community by giving the scholarships. So just don't give up. There's a lot of opportunities that the other resources can get. And also, we are giving the free tickets for the people who would like to participate in the tech events like Connect and Google I/O and lots of different forms of conferences, and also resources from the website. So we are really growing, and as we saw, like there's a soul network at the bottom of this community. So if you want to grow your success in the international and also local, then I would suggest to just participate in one meetup and community. Then that will open your eyes to think out of your boxes, and then we'll think about other opportunities that may lead you another path to your life. And the efforts, what we are doing is we are partnering for impact, and we can just do it all alone. I think the most important things of being partnered with some other company is the companies already have good seniors and then who are friendly to the women. And from them, they are really supportive to donate their resources. So we are continuously trying to making a partnership with them, and then we're suggesting the job opportunities and then making the job boards to them. And also they want to hire someone, so we are making we are partnering for impact, and we cannot just do this amazing partnership with just us. So we try to create our global network and advance our missions. So here are some. So far that's what we tried to do in the Women in Code. And I would like to mention that just participated one event or network, whatever it is, just that will allow you to another path, and then you will meet a lot of women colleagues and friends. I think that's really supportive resources of your whole tech career. So just participate regularly, and if there is something you want, just find a way to get it, and then if it doesn't exist, just create it. Thank you.
Yujin, thank you so much for that. I love how you use the example of creating a community to get us all to hustle and to fight for what we think we deserve and to create our own network. So thank you so much for sharing that. And last but not least, Naomi, please take it away.
Thank you, and hi everyone. This is Naomi Kurahara from the Infostra. I'm a co-founder and CEO of Infostra. So first, today I want to share my experience and what I did so far. To be honest, I wasn't a good hand to promote I am women, but now I think I need more women in my company and also industry. So I really hope I can help something to increase the women in tech. So, how can I go next slide? Sorry. How can I go to next slide?
There's a toolbar to the left hand of the screen, and you'll find small arrows. And if you hit the down arrow right below the number, that should advance to the next slide. And Logan, feel free to jump in.
Sorry, I don't see the arrow.
So it's on the left-hand side of the PowerPoint. You'll have to actually click on the PowerPoint for it to pop up. If you're not seeing it, then clicking on the PowerPoint itself, and then on your keyboard, you can use the page up and page down buttons.
Yeah, I'm like clicking a page up and page down. It doesn't work. And
Naomi, I'll move the slides for you. Just let me know when you want to move to the next slide.
Okay, thank you. So this is my first slide. I grew up in the countryside of Japan. It's far from Tokyo, and I didn't know many women in tech. But here I began my interest about finance. I remember I asked my parents to buy a telescope. So please go next. So I think this is the first woman I got influenced is my mother. She was professional dietitian. She had a degree of the university. So I think it's rare for her generation, especially in the countryside. So most of the mothers surrounding me, my friend, was housewomen. So, but I learned from my mother, the working is not something earning money. It's something to use my time. Please go next slide. And then I got an interest about space, and I entered Kyushu Institute of Technology. So it's engineering technology. I started the degree with the electrical engineering. In my year, I had 200 classmates, and women was only 5, including me. So please go next. At that time, I didn't have much like female researchers surrounding me, and itself wasn't a problem. I tried to create a like usual network, the man or women, and then the researcher network still helped me. However, I think I was helped from my female classmates a lot. They were my anchor, and we were all for each other. We spent a lot of time in the class and private. So please go next. And then I got this point. I acquired PhD. I was working as postdoc in academia. And then I started to think, okay, maybe my next career will be not in academia. I want to have experience in the industry, business side. So, and then I decided to go to industry side. However, if I wanted to continue my career in the academia, definitely I needed some mentor. Because having the career in the academia is also tough, and I needed some advice. But then I changed my career. Please go next. So I founded my company in Costa 2016. It was always hard to be a founder, but I think most of the challenges for startup or to being executive of startup
it's same for men and women. So I had the same challenge as men had, but I think the important thing is to have a team. So please go next. One thing, if I highlight my challenge, is building a credibility in the man-dominated world. So, for example, if I join a meeting first, the other people from other company was all men, and they tend to start to talk with other man member from InfoShare. So I felt my experience and my knowledge was looked down. So please go next slide. The first challenge, but I think definitely having PhD helped me to build a trust from the other people. However, in the end, sharing my real experience, valid knowledge and valid skills is most important thing to build a credibility and trust. So I encourage people to join the hands-on project or workshop to get actual experience. Let's go next. So another challenge was being mother and CEO. So I started January 2016, my company, and then I found out that I got pregnant in the same year, and I gave my first children. I gave a birth of my first child in the same year, 2016. I was a beginner of CEO and I was a beginner of the mother. Please go next. I think there is one big challenge in particular, which is mostly a big challenge for women, is having a child and also having a professional responsibility in the same time. Because we have to spend a certain amount of time to look for children. Please go next. This is my real experience. We raised our seed round funding in June 2016. I found that I was pregnant before that. So I didn't tell that thing to investor when I was doing negotiations. But before signing the contract, I went to each investor and told I got pregnant. I was really worried about, they withdraw the investment. However, it was not happening. They were really supportive, and I got the sign this way. So please go next. So it was okay for fundraising and having baby, but definitely my time became limited, which was a challenge. And for example, I had to leave at office 6 p.m. in sharp to pick up my kid. And that was the small thing, but that was tough. I asked my team to arrange meetings, everything in my office hours. And then my corporate team supported to arrange business trip as short as possible. So definitely support from team is needed. So please go next. I believe women can take more responsibilities in business if the people surrounding them both professionally and personally understand their daily patterns and schedules, especially when it comes to childcare. Please go next. It's also important to remove unnecessary social and gender norms. My grandmother would ask me why I was working after having a baby. She would say, a mother should stay at home and take care of a baby. I love my grandmother, was really sad to hear that. Please go next. And there is another big challenge. I feel the men and women do not split the housework equally. That is maybe a small thing, but that definitely give a pressure and stress to women. So unfortunately, I think the social norms and the traditional gender roles are responsible for creating the situation. So society was told that women should stay inside and take care of the family. It's really hard to change this ideology, especially in the older generations. But I really hope for next generations, they have less pressure from society. Please go next. Well, I'm interested in seeing a group of women in STEM, and I want to have more women in my company and the industry. Okay, so please go next. Yeah, to be honest, I also have to consider what I can do for my company. So we have like 3 women, and they are good. Naturally, they are good communicators, and they are good at to make a team balance and to create a good atmosphere. So I think if they learn some like management and planning skills, they can definitely become a good manager. So I hope to see more women in the responsibility roles. Please go next. So that is end of my slide. I want to see more like women, and hope to talk more with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Naomi, for sharing your incredibly personal journey to being a supermom and to being an amazing businesswoman. So something for a lot of us to aspire to. And thank you, Aisha and Yujin, for sharing your stories as well.